Hello, everybody. Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. Now we have a double special for you today. We have got another duo on. This time it's a father and daughter duo. Now, one of them is the voice of Shredder and Splinter in Shredder's Revenge. That's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game. And the other is the voice. Now, I can exclusively reveal this. This is an ATF exclusive because it's not been revealed anywhere else. You will be the first to hear it today. My second guest is the voice of Karai in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. My guests are Sean Gurnsey and Alannah Gurnsey.
Hey.
Hello. And also Sean's voice Howard the Duck in Marvel Avengers Academy, which I think is quite cool.
Yeah, actually, there's a couple games out there that I'm in that I don't even know the title of because they were in a working title. I was a cat in some video game, talking cat, and all of their villains in that.
I still think it's funny because when he got his job with Marvel for Howard the Duck, I told some of my coworkers and they were like, "No way, we played that game." And so then they got his autograph and stuff.
That was silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, super fun to be here.
You're welcome. It's super fun to meet you guys as well. And just fun fact, it was just going to be Sean, but then we had to wait until the DLC was announced so Alannah could come and join us as well. I know it sounds like I'm saying Alannah, but I'm trying to say Alannah because it's like it blends in with my accent, so it's like a sort of like posh. Yes, Alannah, so it's sort of a bit like that. We want to think of Alannah, Hannah, banana, Havana, anything that reminds me of that sort of word. Trying to think. Okay, got it. I got it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so Sean, Alannah, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. We've had a whole pile of rain. It's been kind of dreary for the last, I don't know, while. And so we've finally got some sun to kind of dry stuff up. So it's kind of one of those sunshiny days where nothing could probably go wrong. And even if it did, it'd be still in the shadow of the good sun.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an exciting day. I'm pretty happy about all of the video game stuff that's come out and like being on a podcast. I feel like a superhero.
You are a superhero.
I know, but like I'm such a nerd, but I feel like a superhero. So I've been walking around in a pretty good mood for the last like 3 weeks, I think, because of all of this. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. And if I correct me if I'm wrong, you have done a few video games before, Alannah, if I'm correct.
She's done not necessarily video games.
Sorry, I got the email wrong. I thought it said you've done a few voiceover stuff before, but this is your first video game that you've worked. Sorry, that was me misremembering the email.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I've done a handful of voice acting before. I did several Spotify ads. I did some stuff for Hollister and Post-it notes. Post-it notes was the funniest thing because I have ADHD and post-it notes are how I remember everything. So then I got that job. Yeah. So then I got that job and I'm like, yes, this is like the greatest thing ever. And then, fast forward a couple years and I'm in this video game and it's my first video game ever. And this is so, so cool. Like, again, I feel like a superhero. So I watch my videos or the little clips that they're bringing out, and I'm just excited to play my character.
Couple more days.
I know. And then I'm totally downloading the DLC on my PS5. It's gonna be awesome.
I've got the game on my Xbox Series X and I play it from time to time. And honestly, it's really good just to hear the old voice cast. Again, I know, Sean, you and Alannah, you have seen Rob, but you haven't seen any of the others. But they are such a lovely bunch, and honestly, I think it'd be great to meet them.
I've actually tried to connect with everybody on different social medias and Twitter and whatever. Just send them a message. I know Cam sent me a welcome to the family message, and I think Townsend Coleman, he sent me a message too. It's so cool. It's surreal. It's surreal becoming I say coworker because it does feel like we're in the same industry and we've worked together on a project, even though we didn't sit at the same table. But it's so cool to like have these heroes from when I was a kid become like my comrades. You know, it was such a cool thing to be able to connect with them. But yeah, love it.
Wow. Well, honestly, it sounds like really a dream come true because, well, Splinter and Karai are technically father and daughter in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise in some iterations, and then of course your father and daughter in real life. And it was just a pure coincidence. Alannah, I'm going to start with you. How did you get cast as Karai in Shredder's Revenge?
So, I mean, I actually had auditioned when the video game first kind of was, being made, and my dad got cast for Splinter. I had actually auditioned for some of the other female roles, and I didn't get it. And I kind of was like, oh man, well, I wasn't expecting to get this. It's okay, right? And so a year and a bit goes by, and I think I was at work, and my dad texted me, and he's like, hey, there's a job for you. Our agent, he's like, wants you to try an audition for this. When can you come audition? And I was like, well, I can be there Friday. So I came out and did the audition. No idea really until after I had auditioned what I was even auditioning for. And then just because there were so many like non-disclosure agreements. And then dad tells me, I'm like, oh, that would be so cool. Oh, that would be so cool to be in the same video game, because I had been playing as my dad's character. And then I got a call like 2 weeks later, and they were like, yep, we want you to play Karai. And when can we set up a directed session? And I honestly, it was so surreal. It didn't feel real until we were actually in the booth recording. And I kind of have to like stand up and act. Dad can do most of his voice acting while he's sitting and whatever, but I'm a very physical actor, so I got to play out the character when I was talking. And after that, I was just like, okay, I need to see this animation, because if it's anything like I've imagined while I've been voice acting, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fangirl over this character so much. So it was pretty cool.
It was a fun session because like we were both in the booth together, because I run the recording side, like the tech side of it, and do lots of the editing and whatever. And so so I'm sitting in there and giving kind of like we're like, we're not really coaching, but just back and forth, like maybe you could try it this way or whatever, like an extra person in on the session. And at certain points during some of the fighting noises, we were like acting it out. Like I'm throwing little jabs at her,
jabs at me.
and just like reacting to it. And so it was probably the most fun I've ever had in a directed session.
Oh, I think at one point I said, I'm like, I feel like a Disney princess, but a ninja Disney princess, which is so much cooler. Like it was so fun. It was such a good session.
Yeah.
It was complete blind casting. Like they didn't even know you were the daughter of Splinter in real life.
No, again, our agent, so he's the one that has connected with us with a lot of the different Spotify ads that she had done. And so he's kind of got like a bit of a demo pile of her stuff. And so he was like, I really think that Alannah could do this. And I don't know if he had put it together. I don't know if he's a fan of the Turtles at all, but he's just like, oh yeah, this is something she could do. And then when he pitched it to the clients, they were like, oh yeah, this is the voice. Like, and we wondered if she was not quite cut out to be Karai, because like just we had seen some of the other actors performances, and we're like, oh, I don't really know if we're a fit. And they're like, oh no, you're absolutely what we're going for.
Well, and it was kind of like, for me, I guess, because of course there's like Rob Paulson, and then like all these amazing actors, and then Dad, who's quite established, right, as a voice actor. And I've done like a handful of things, and I went into it, I think I was actually not feeling great that day. So my voice wasn't even at top shape when I did my audition. And I just was like, this is a throwaway audition. Like I totally didn't think I was going to get it. And then, when I did, they didn't even know that we were related. So I thought I got the job because Dad was in the game already, and like they heard my last name, and oh, Nope, not at all. Dad's like,
They
nope,
had
you did this
no-
on your own.
No connection except for, of course, our agent. But
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Honestly, most fun directed session I think I've ever been in.
Yeah.
So
hopefully we'll get to do more with them. Like I would love to work with them. They are the most fun to work with.
so great.
Out of all of the different jobs I've had, the most fun.
So great. Yeah.
Go team.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon that's probably boosted your CV, Alannah. Honestly, that will be a good thing to put on your CV that you've done like a really highly rated video game as well. Of course, you've got your commercial sort of gigs that you've done as well. I mean, have you got a voiceover demo? May I ask? Like of a character commercial?
She has an older one, but the thing is, so like because all of my kids have done some voice acting, just mostly because there's not a lot of kids in voice acting in that realm, and so the audition load is fairly thin. Like there's not a lot of people auditioning, and so people would be like, "Hey, Sean, you got kids? Do you think maybe they want to throw in for this?" So I had demos built for, like I built some just of some of the things that they had done, but they sound so squeaky and young. Like all of their voices changed. They're all teenagers and older now, and 20 is getting up there. Your voice might actually stay fairly close to what it's at right now. But the other kids, like my son Evan, he did some educational stuff. He did like some kids alphabet learning type things, and he sounds so cute. He was a little older, but he kind of kidified his voice just a little bit for that job. And so to use that now he's got this deep voice, he talks like this. It's like, well, the demo is kind of not great anymore because he does not sound like that. But we got to create a new demo, and we're going to add her to my website to give a more prominent place to her, so she's got some more interaction with scouting talent.
Yeah, well, because I think like, so for me, I have a different job. I'm a lifeguard. So, and I'm full-time there and have been. And really the only time I started thinking, oh, voice acting could be more of, like a job or more than just like occasional thing. Maybe I'll make it more of a side hustle, was during COVID, right? Because my job got completely shut down. And so I did a few more auditions with Dad, and then everything kind of opened back up, and I went back to doing lifeguarding more full time. And so now that I've done the video game, and I was like, that was the most fun I think I've ever had doing work. I'm kind of going, this, I could see doing more of this in the future. And like the idea of the flexibility of the schedule really appeals to me. So, yeah, we gotta do some headshots and some like demos, and
we'll do some like back-to-back headshots.
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea. Sounds like a plan, definitely. And the fact that no one else knows it's you. What day does the DLC come out? Because this will be released definitely before.
Yeah, it's in a few days. The 31st.
Yeah,
the 31st. It will this chat will most likely be out on the 28th or 29th. It depends. But honestly, like no one knows it's you, Alannah, because I looked at a YouTube video and someone asked, who voices Karai? And I was like, oh, someone in the comments probably knows, but it's all these people making guesses and stuff. Like it's not even revealed anywhere. You're literally waiting until unless I can release this on the 31st to coincide with your public announcement of being Karai, or I can do it earlier.
You can do whenever you want. That would be awesome.
Whenever you want. I honestly, it was so fun for me because I didn't really even know a lot about Karai. So I have been binge watching like Ninja Turtles. So I can understand her better. But I was watching all of the questions because, of course, the character wasn't released until, last week? Watching all the comments, and they're like, I really hope it's Karai, or like all of these fans who are talking. And I just was sitting there going, oh my gosh, I just can't wait. Like, so excited.
Who's voicing Karai?
Yeah, who's voicing Karai? I'm like, it's me.
And I've been sitting on it for months. And I've been added to so many different like Ninja Turtle fan groups and different things like that. And so I'll see something come up and they're all talking about like, well, like they said there's multiple new characters that you can play, and I'm like, I know one of them, but I can't tell. But no, I just kept hinting, and but of course they would never have been able to. They maybe thought maybe I had voiced something or whatever, but they kind of just overrode me. It's like, oh, Sean, he's not telling us nothing.
Yep.
But yeah, it was so hard to keep it a secret. So hard.
Oh man, I was just like, even for my family, I'm like, you guys, you don't know how cool I am. You don't know how cool I am. Oh man. But yeah, it's good.
So, did you base your voice on Karai off any of the previous voice actors of hers, like Karen Neal or Kelly Hugh or anyone like that, or is it just purely your own take on it?
So what I did,
Sorry.
I didn't really know who she was a whole lot because I played the Wii Ninja Turtles game. But I was kind of a little bit older when all that like Ninja Turtle stuff was coming out or had already come out. And so what I did was prepping for my directed session.
Yeah.
I watched, it was like an hour and 40 minutes of all Karai's clips across every universe. It's like every clip that Karai has ever been in. And I just sat there and was like binge watching all of her stuff. And so I picked up certain character traits, I guess, that were kind of similar across all of the voices. But when we actually got into the session, a lot of it just was like basically my original take when I didn't even know who she was.
They actually liked her voice better than, and like not that she wasn't killing it with the imitations, but they were like, no, we want her to be more American, a more American feel.
Which was funny because I don't have an American accent. I have a Canadian accent.
Yes.
So I always end my sentences on an up because I'm trying to be polite. And so it would always be on the higher end. Like I'm asking a question and they're like, okay, but you need to say it like it's a statement. You gotta come down with your voice. So it was good. I definitely made it a little bit more gravelly, a little bit, more dark and intense, but it's pretty much just my voice with a little bit of inflection on there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I wish I had Zoom Premium now. 40 minutes is never enough to talk to someone ever on Zoom. Definitely.
Especially to someone's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's twice the fun though. I tell you that now. So Sean, how did you get the role of Shredder and Splinter? I know obviously you got Splinter first, but how did you get the roles on a Shredder's Revenge?
Well, I actually got all 12 roles that I did.
Oh yeah, you did 12. Oh yes.
Yeah, I did 12. I'm oh my, I don't even think I could list them all. I'm Splinter, Shredder, Splinter, Krang, Leatherhead, Metalhead, Chrome Dome.
Oh, and Krang, yeah, you were Krang, weren't you?
Who else was I?
I don't know.
Chrome Dome.
You were a lot.
Oh, I was two of the frogs. It's like that's delicious. Who else? Yeah, so there's 12 different characters. I think I did Baxter Stockman.
No,
so I got
according to IMDb. I don't think you did. Yeah. It says Shredder, Splinter, Krang, Captain Zorax, Chrome Dome, Dirtbag, Genghis Frog, Leatherhead, Metalhead, Rasputin the Mad Frog, Slash, and Wingnut.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah.
That's on IMDb.
So they sent me a list and they said, hey, audition for ones that you think you can do. And I was like, I know these guys from, and I had a bit of an understanding that the game was kind of like a retro throwback, that they wanted to do sort of that side scroller, back when games were hard and they were, button mashers and all of that fun stuff that we had back in the 80s and 90s. Mm-hmm. And so when I knew that they were doing a throwback, my brain instantly went back to when I was a little kid. And I did these voices as a little kid. Like it was sort of a party trick, when I was like 6 or 7 to throw out Krang's voice, like, you fell for my immersion. The chortling, brain voice. And I used to like I used to watch the movie when the live action movie came out. I used to watch that like almost every day after school. Like it was just constantly on repeat in my house. And so like Splinter, that's the voice of Splinter in my head. Shredder was always James Avery. Like I felt like I probably couldn't get any of those roles because I wasn't those people. But I idolized them as a kid. So they lived rent free up there. So when I got to the different, I'd record one and I'd be like, oh, this is totally how they sound in my head. And when they called me back again a couple of weeks later after I'd sent these auditions in, they were just like, so some good news. You got this one and 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 this one. We want to use you for all of the ones. And I was totally blown away. I think I was probably, floating this far off the ground everywhere I went for like the next month or so.
Well, and then I think there was like Father's Day. We were trying to get him Ninja Turtle stuff because we knew he was going to be in this video game and we couldn't find it anywhere. Oh. And then we went to a fan expo as our Mandalorians. And I was walking around and I found this artist who does like really, really cool Ninja Turtles, like line work and stuff. I can't remember the name of the artist right now, but it was so cool. And I'm like, there's Shredder and there's Splinter. I'll take 2, please.
Yeah. But I think it's weird to sign your own artwork, isn't it?
I think it's cool. I think it's cool personally. Like, I think, because I went to an event at the TF Nation. They had a lot of artists there signing their own artwork and stuff, like stuff they had drew or like stuff that arted people. Like I've done art for Frank Welker. He signed it for me and just, it's just like art that was meant for them. But they wanted you to have it back. I'm like, no, that's for you to keep. That's what I always say to these people when I do art for them. I'm like, that's for you to keep. That's for you to keep only.
Yeah, to meet Frank, I'm actually friends with his niece, and totally before I became a voice actor, and I didn't realize there was a relationship. But yeah, I'm friends with his niece. So I'm like trying to, work that angle a little bit and see if she can, get me a meet and greet and coffee or something on their farm or something. But yeah.
Oh, that I was gonna say because Peter Cullen did Calgary Expo. You know what that is? I believe it's in Alberta.
Yep.
He did that. If only Frank was there, you could have gone and met him. Met them both.
I know.
Yeah.
They're
in Toronto right now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like who is it in Harry Potter? The guy that collects the different kids, the special kids, in Harry Potter.
I know exactly.
Slughorn.
Oh, Slughorn.
I kind of feel like I've got to collect all of the cast members, all of the Ninja Turtles.
The Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
like you have a turtle glove and it's just got all these gemstones of like their respective colors, and then just yellow for April. Renee Jacobs. She's lovely. Yes. Yeah, I know. Well, she wasn't in Shredder's Revenge, but of course she's the OG.
Yeah, Catherine
Slingsby. Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked with her we're Facebook friends now. So.
I remember look, Catherine. I might have to get her on my podcast as well. It looks like she's done a lot of the commercials and everything like that. Wow, I'm gonna have to get her, like everyone. I mean,
you totally should.
Yeah,
tell her that it's my fault that you contacted her.
I will do. Don't worry. So essentially, how does it feel to be in a multi nominated game? Because looking at IMDb, the nominations for this game, it's won a few times, but it's mainly been nominated. It's been nominated for 2 BAFTA awards, Best Family Game and Best Multiplayer this year. It's been nominated at the NAV GTR Awards, NAV GTR being the National Academy of Video Game Trade Reviewers, and it was nominated for Control Precision, Game Design, and Best Song, and it won in Original Light Mix Score franchise and Game Franchise Fighting. And then the Game Awards, it was nominated for Best Action Game and Best Multiplayer Game last year. The Navgato Awards was 2023. And then the Golden Joystick Awards, it was nominated in 2022 for Best Audio and Best Multiplayer Game. How does it feel being in like a BAFTA nominated game, a Golden Joystick nominated game, Game Award nominated game, National Academy of Video Game Trade Review? Hey, I remember that winner. Now get to boredom.
I love it. I mean, I'm literally getting like the tinglies, and I'm totally okay if they want to have a celebrity voice actor show up to receive any of those awards. I'd be happy to represent. But no, it's the game, like the people that put the game together, all of the factors, all of the actors and all of the musicians and like directors and programmers, everybody that's in there is like totally deserving. Like, and I can only expect more good stuff to come from them. They're such a great group to work for and work with, and yeah, they deserve all of the accolades that they're getting.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. They were so nice too, and honestly, because I was feeling super nerdy and super excited just to be a part of something that's like kind of gone so big and like that the Ninja Turtles fans have enjoyed so much. I was just really excited to be a part of that. But then to like hear their ideas, like our director, when I was going through my session, he was like kind of describing the character to me, and he's like, this is the motion she's going to be doing when you say that thing. And like it was just so cool to have them really want you to be a part of what they were doing. Like they were just so excited to have you work with them, which made it really fun. It's
well, and I think that it's because they're fans too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a game built for fans and for all the nostalgia and for all of us old guys that had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle underwear for every day of the week. It's like it's a throwback, and they did everything with that in mind. They really had a great vision right from the get-go, I think, to bring us back to the golden age of Ninja Turtles, and I think they did an awesome job. So
yeah,
definitely worthy of all of the awards. If you have to vote for them to get awards, go click the buttons, do the things.
I think I had to
make it happen.
I had to vote for BAFTA. I think I can't remember about the Joystick and Game Awards, but yeah. Oh yeah, that's just gonna be a question I was gonna ask you too. Have you seen the video from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon where Shredder thinks he's Michelangelo and he walks and he's like, "Oh, I brought some takeout, so yeah, let's get down to business, dudes." And then Leonardo's like, "It's Shredder!" Whoa! he's absolutely terrified, and it's just
there's a whole episode, right? There's a whole episode where his brain gets scrambled somehow.
I don't feel like he's one of the turtles. Yeah, that's the episode. Yeah, that is one of the.
Michelangelo is my favorite turtle. So we played that Wii game, and you would hear like the intro when it had your choose your character. My cousin Abigail, she was always Leonardo, and my cousin Heidi was always Raphael. And I just remember I would always pick Mikey, and it would be Michelangelo, Raphael. It was so fun.
See, I always wanted to, like, when you're a kid, you pretend that you're those characters, right? And so I had 3 friends. So we were the 4 Ninja Turtles. And I always wanted to be Leonardo, but because my name was Sean, they were like, "No, you got to be Donatello." And I was like, but nobody likes Donatello. So
Donatello.
He was cool. I have an affinity for him, but I actually learned martial arts when I was a kid because of the Ninja Turtles. I learned all of their different weapon styles just because of the Ninja Turtles. I'm such a dork. I am such a dork.
That's so cool. People always ask me who my favorite turtle is, and I've got to say it is Leonardo. And I know people would just be like, "Why not Michelangelo?" Well, Leonardo. Look, I'm a voiceover buff. It's only because he's voiced by Cam Clark.
Yeah.
And it's also like just the character portrayal he gives him, and also like Cam's the sweetest, like out of all of them, they're all sweet, but like Cam has just gone the extra level for me. Like we did a podcast interview after I met him in Telford, and like we just had such an amazing time, and he surprised me. He has so much memorabilia from everything. He's he is amazing, honestly. Like, I started this like sort of Faz hyperfixation on the Snoopy, Peanuts, and then Cam actually voiced him for like the Worlds of Wonder talking doll in the 80s. It's like a sort of Teddy Ruxpin thing where you put in cassette tapes and you read along with a book or something. So Cam voiced that, and I was like, look, I've got to get you on my podcast immediately. I got on the podcast. He goes into another room. It comes out with a Worlds of Wonder Snoopy. I'm like, what? You own one? And he was like, yeah, it doesn't work. I was like, wow, oh my gosh. He's got like Rocky and Bullwinkle cutouts, Mr. Peabody Sherman cutouts on his wall. And I'm like, oh my gosh. He's amazing, honestly, and they're all amazing in their own way. They've all been so kind to me, honestly. Like Tarleton's been kind, and then Barry's been. You know what? They've all been kind. Rob's been kind. They're all just as good as each other. Just forget what I said. I love them all equally.
Well, it's funny. I actually, since being Karai, because I know again, it depends on which Ninja Turtles you're talking about, but Karai and Leonardo almost have a bit of a like love interest thing going on. I feel like I need to get a Leonardo sticker. I have a dirt bike that's green, and I'm like, I need to get a Leonardo sticker for my dirt bike. I feel like that would be so great.
Leo is bae.
Oh, can you imagine Sebastian's reaction?
Yeah. So
definitely.
good.
Are you planning on doing any convention appearances in the future, perhaps?
Oh man, I would go as a guest. I did actually get to do one cool thing back. I think it was in March, April, somewhere back there. I was the guest host for a charity video game event, for a speedrunning video game event.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I got to sit in. They were raising funds and for kids, and that was a cool thing where I got to be kind of a celebrity guest. But I would go in a heartbeat. I go to cons mostly because I'm a fan, and a cosplayer. But I would also absolutely go at the request of anybody who wants me to show up and sit with Rob or any of the other guys. Because I'm at that level, right?
You are. I'm not. I mean, I think it would be cool, but I would be like so out of my element because this is so new. I definitely will be going to future cons dressed as my character, Karai.
I gotta build a Shredder costume.
I just think it would be so cool to like be standing there in my Karai costume and then say my little Karai lines and have it be dead on because it's me, because you can impersonate like any other voice actor or like try, right? But when it's your character, you're being spot on. So.
I have a feeling that probably I would not get an invite, especially when you got people like Jackie Chan playing Splinter. I'm like, I didn't even get a phone call.
In the new movie. I am so excited about the new movie though. Yeah. Oh man. Well, actually today I walked in and like my coworkers all know now that I'm in this video game because it finally came out, and on our whiteboard, our communication board, it was like, good luck with your podcast, and all of these whiteboard drawn out Ninja Turtles. And I was like, yes, this is the greatest
we
thing.
have arrived.
Yep.
Actually, that was weird too. We were at a different event and this kid ran up to me and he was like all excited, like he's just like vibrating, and I am like, what is going on? Like, is he having a seizure or something? Like, I actually had no idea what was wrong with this kid. He's like, you're Shredder. Yes, I am. And then I started shaking just as much as he did. Like, we had a little giggle and we took some photos. And again, because we've been holding on to this information for so long, I'm like, you got to get a photo with me, but you also have to get a picture with me and my daughter Alannah. And it won't make sense. I won't even tell you why, but someday
it's gonna
down the road, this will make so much more sense. And so there's one of us standing on either side of them, like just fighting stance. But yeah, I don't think I'm a celebrity at all. I am just a guy who does voices, and I sometimes get paid for it. And when I'm not getting paid, or when I am getting paid, I'm having more fun than anybody I know. So.
Would you ever do a Karai cosplay?
Oh, totally. I actually have already been planning out because I have my Mandalorian that I built. And I use different plastics and stuff to make the armor. But I was sitting there watching again the gameplay of this new character, and she's got the two costumes that I saw. She's got kind of her classic purple and red and like really dark, cool looking Karai costume, and then she's got kind of her orange and teal one. And I was sitting there going, you know what? I actually don't think this would be too difficult to make a really, really cool costume. The only thing is the like grappling hook that she's got. I'm like, that maybe I may not be allowed into a con with a grappling hook.
Maybe I should be. I could have Splinter. Maybe
we should make you totally like a prosthetic mouse head.
Yes.
Yes.
Because right now my knee is injured and I get around with a cane, so I could use a cane as Splinter.
Yes. Okay, we have great cosplay ideas now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We have to go because we need some fur.
Sorry guys, can we just borrow a whole tail from this place? Yeah, sure, go ahead. This is just like this long rat tail. Oh my gosh, that is amazing though, honestly. Like, I love voice actors who cosplay as their characters as well. I think it's absolutely amazing. I mean, heck, I can't even cosplay as a helicopter or a photo booth, but still it would be quite fun if I ever...
A helicopter. My son was an airplane for one Halloween and a fire station.
He wanted to be an airport the first time, so he was like little, but he was chatting with my mom. He's like, I want to be an airport for Halloween, and she's like the building, like where airplanes are. Yeah,
with the runway.
And we're like, how about you're an airplane? We can do airplane. Airport might be a little tricky.
But then he was a fire station the next year.
Yep. Made out of boxes. It's pretty great.
What was it made out of?
Boxes and
boxes.
And he had like little suspenders, so you cut out the hole in the box and you put
use the planes. The plane one was awesome because we had like swimming goggles. He wore swimming goggles, and he had like a winter cap that had like the ear flaps. So he had goggles with ear flaps, and then he was like basically the pilot, and his legs were just running around underneath. It was the cutest thing.
Yeah.
Why do you guys have to get old?
I don't know, man. Apparently when you get old, you got to pay taxes and stuff.
I know. You shouldn't. Just don't get older.
I want to be Peter Pan.
I am Peter Pan. I'm never going to grow up. Are you kidding me?
You're the voice of Peter Pan. You could be Peter and Wendy. I don't know. Hook and Wendy. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Cool. My wife would be Wendy.
Yeah, my mom would totally be Wendy. Yeah.
It's like all dress up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a good family costume. I think that's going to happen too.
Yeah, Peter Pan. I just said Peter Pan. Peter can what? What? He can what? He can fly. Yes, sure. He can fly. Yeah, sure. He can fly for sure.
I'd be a good Captain Hook. I just have to get
Captain Hook, the crocodile, Smee, all these different sorts of characters.
Smee!
Oh man, this is amazing. Honestly, I'm witnessing history right here. My cheeks hurt so much from smiling.
Oh, that's so good. This is the whole point of doing it.
So fun.
I did not choose to be a voice actor because it was like what I always wanted to do. I became a voice actor because of some really hard stuff in life, and the joy that has come as a result of doing it is unreal. Like it's just been such a cool, like there's a verse in the Bible that says a man plans his steps, but it's God that makes. How does it go?
A man plans his steps, but
the Lord orders them or something.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we can make all sorts of plans and have all these different ideas of how things are going to go. And then God can really redirect to where you're supposed to be. And I was in really bad shape. 2017 is when we thought I was going to die, actually, from all of my health stuff. And that was the year that a friend of mine, Jesse, he said, hey, you should do some voice acting. You can sit at home, you can be in your wheelchair. And if you have a good day, you can sit in front of the computer and record. And if you have a bad day, then you just stay in bed and don't worry about it. And so I started doing that, and my health started getting better almost in tandem with that and started landing some jobs. Got my first job. Well, my second job ever was for Nintendo, which was amazing.
Ooh, what'd you do there?
Miitopia.
Yeah, it was Miitopia and
Wow.
Pikmin.
The Dark Lord stole everyone's faces.
The Dark Lord stole everyone's faces. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was like the beginning of recognizing that, like, this whole time, like I mentioned earlier, like I started doing the Ninja Turtles voices when I was like 5, 6, 7, and was kind of always getting in trouble for making noises and voices and making people laugh. I was a bit of a class clown, and getting in trouble for doing that stuff, to realize now that it was like almost grooming me. Lifelong thing would lead me to this place where I'd be stuck doing voice acting, which I didn't even realize I could do. And now it's like my everyday job. I wake up, I grab a coffee, and I go sit in my booth and I talk to myself. and it's so much fun. Like every day I can be these different characters, and it's such an amazing opportunity.
Honestly sounds like my average day. Honestly, like one day you can wake up and decide to be the voice of a witch, and then next day you can get an audition. Yeah, they want you to be the voice of a cranky lawyer who's fighting a lawsuit against his 2 clients, and you're thinking you can be anyone you want to be. And acting means you're essentially, becoming someone who's not yourself. Like, as for me, I have a condition which is a part of my autism called echolalia, which means I tend to repeat stuff from films, TV shows, video games, like quotes, just like randomly, or just like, if it makes me smile out loud, like I'll just say it. And it does help me because I kind of do an impression of a character, and that's kind of what built me into voice acting, because when I was younger, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then now I know. So that's that kind of.
And it's like it's been there. It's like sometimes we assume that the hard things are bad.
Yeah.
Until you realize that with a little polish, all of a sudden what you're holding on to isn't, just something hard. It's actually a diamond. It's like, yeah, it might be the hardest thing, but it's actually like a very precious thing. So that's so cool. I love that aspect of your story, because it's a diamond that maybe nobody thought was a diamond initially, but that's so cool. Same with like, oh yeah, I'm in a wheelchair and half my body doesn't work and my brain doesn't work, but I can sometimes do voices, and now I'm healthy and
yay,
our Ninja Turtle family. Like that's the difference between some of the comics, or like the cartoons from back in those days are so different than cartoons nowadays, because there was like nobody was taking it seriously to the point where you lost the fun of it. It was like, no, just have fun with this. Like you actually just, what would it sound like if you were, kind of scrambled in the brain and you thought you were Michelangelo? like such a different world. I think our world right now, everybody gets too serious with everything all the time, myself included. You get too serious, and sometimes you just need to like let her buck. Just be a little goofy.
Episode. When we off this video, I'm gonna go watch that episode because I feel like I need to watch it now.
I'm going to as well, because I'm educating myself more and more on Ninja Turtles, and I think that's a great educational piece.
Yes. Yeah, it's like going to school.
Yep. I go watch Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, you're going to Turtle Academy. It's like you're going to martial arts class, honestly. Like I just want to now. I have a VHS player over there. That shows you how old I am. So I'll just nip that tape over there that I showed you before, the signed one. Just watch it. Just like, just gonna watch and just be like, yeah, looks good.
I have to find a copy of the movie, the live action movie. I gotta watch that because I know that movie line by line. So good.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I'd say like another one, a show I like is Transformers. And speaking of Transformers, Sean, you're a child of the 80s. You grew up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all these shows, maybe Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, maybe.
So by the power of Grayskull.
and then just Skeletor's laugh is just like, no. I think there's like, Alan Oppenheimer, man. Oh, such a great guy. I remember there's one episode where they were saying about one of the princesses, and then Skeletor just goes, what?
What?
Alan Oppenheimer.
Again, they were having so much fun. It wasn't about being serious. It's like, this is for kids. This is supposed to be a little
money. It wasn't about the fame. It was simply because these people enjoyed acting, and like essentially what I say and a lot of people say, it's not about the voices that you do that you get into acting. It's not the voices. It's the way you act. It's the acting that gets you around. I'm a theatre actor. I studied performing arts at my college, so I've got a sort of background. Yeah. So what was it like growing up in the 80s with all these shows, and then to eventually voice Shredder and Splinter?
Splinter, it's your accent. It messes everything.
Well, and then what was it like to voice Shredder and Splinter all these years later? What was it like growing up and then voicing them?
Yeah, like growing up, like I would watch it on TV. I had Ninja Turtle toys in my hand. I remember I had a paper route, and I would get distracted delivering newspapers because I was doing it. Like I had a skateboard because I was trying to be like the Turtles. Like it was so in my brain. Like I just marinated in Turtles. And then of course, turtle marinade.
You said that, and I just thought of like the turtles, like the candies.
Ew. Marinating in turtles. What? And Transformers too, like they captured your attention so much. Like it was such a creative thing. Like we now have like how many movies and decades of history with these types of things, but back then that was all like new, and so it was like capturing the imagination of kids. And I remember I used to envision being a different Transformer on that same paper route, and like I'm sure I missed delivering to people's houses because I was like chucking them like they were weapons, and so it was a huge thing. And me and my friends pretending to be the Ninja Turtles and using the Ninja Turtle or the villain voices as like party tricks, like that was what it was like to be a kid. And it was so free, and none of the stresses that are on kids nowadays, and the seriousness and all of the political whatever going on. You were free to be a kid, and just there was so much play that was imaginative, right? Like you maybe watched an episode, but you had limited screen time, and there wasn't cartoons on all the time. Saturday mornings were like your binge watch. And and so for me to be able to voice them now, the game is intended to be this throwback, but for me, it was like that much more. Like I actually got to go back and be that little kid version of me and play as those characters. I actually got to be those characters again, just like I would have in the school playground with my buddies, where got a stick and my other buddy's got a stick that he's, tied together with a piece of twine or whatever for some nunchucks, right? And it was like going back to that time. And like people may get that when they play the game. They're like, oh, this is just like when I was a kid in the arcade or whatever. But I got that plus some, in getting to play these characters. So much fun. An honor.
I presume you were asked to do your own takes on the characters then, rather than impressions?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Pat Fraley, like I definitely love his Krang. So like that's the voice that he always had in my head, was totally, chortly warbly kind of sounds like a Murloc from World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And yeah, like James Avery, you can't emulate James Avery. It's like
you can't.
Oroku Saki, right? Like he had such a deep, gravelly voice, but like he had that voice for me as a kid. So if we were fighting Shredder in the playground, that's what he sounded like. And like Leatherhead, all of these characters, I have all of these childhood memories, and so like instantly can hear that voice. And Splinter for me, I didn't get it as much from the cartoon series, but the voice for Splinter that really stuck with me was from the live action movie, the first Ninja Turtle movie. And so that's kind of when I was thinking about Splinter, that's who I was thinking about.
Yeah, the voice of David
so much.
Macharan, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe it is. Yes, yeah, because it was David did the voice, and then James Sato did the in-person portrayal with the costume on.
That costume would not have been easy.
No, definitely not. I've just seen a picture.
Actors had it pretty rough in the 80s.
You think about any of the stormtroopers?
Stormtroopers, no, like Ewoks and like R2D2, like all of the guys in those costumes were like they had it rough.
Yeah,
they had it rough.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you, Alannah, so essentially, how did you get into? I know I already asked this to your dad, but I was wondering, how did you get into voiceover? Were you inspired by your dad, or was it just simply like your own choice that you wanted to go into voiceover?
So, I mean, definitely, obviously, dad being into it was like the intro, obviously. But I've always enjoyed acting. You know, I did musicals when I was younger. So I would sing and dance, and I know everybody is like a little bit on the fence about musicals, but some of them were really fun. And I always
She was in Peter Pan.
Yeah, I was in Peter Pan. I played a whole pile of different characters. I was a lost boy. I was like Tiger Lily. I was a fairy. I played all the side characters, but I had a whole bunch of quick costume changes, and I just loved the like interaction in the team environment and getting to play pretend. Mm-hmm. And kind of similar to that. I mean, it's almost like we're related. When I was younger, I would watch like a lot of cartoons and stuff, and then I would go outside and I would play with my friends, and I would imitate different characters. Like, so I was on the edge of like the Backyardigans, and I watched My Little Pony, and like I watched all of these different shows, and I could do several of the voices.
Rainbow Dash, right?
No, I can do Pinkie Pie.
Pinkie Pie. Yes. Do Pinkie Pie. Do it.
Oh, my voice is a little sore.
No, do it. Do Pinkie Pie.
You're looking for Rainbow Dash? Where's Rainbow Dash? Well, if I was Rainbow Dash, I'd be Sugar Chip Corner.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So I did lots of that when I was younger. And then, you know, when I started voice acting, I would get all these informational things. Like, I think the first one was like, please wear your seatbelt. And it was like for an airline company or something. And I remember I was just like the safety video, and it's just my normal voice.
That government one, that was a horrible one.
It was so hard. And so a lot of them I got hired for my voice, like just my regular voice with a slightly more like either mature sound, or like the Hollister one was a little more vocal fry. It was a little bit more extra. So like I've always been into acting, but dad being into voice acting has kind of been a way for me to keep up with acting in my I guess now adult life. That sounds weird saying.
She's always been really artistic. Like the arts have always, like since she was really, really little, you know, she would sing and dance and, you know, paint and draw, and so the arts is a part of who you are. So it's cool to see it come out in this way too.
Well, and just sitting there too, like, because I would draw so much, like drawing stuff out was my thing. And I've done a handful of commissions now with artwork, just drawing stuff out for people. And I would like kind of voice characters while I was drawing them out, and like be thinking about, okay, you know, I watched a lot of the Clone Wars, so I'm drawing out my little Ahsoka picture or whatever, creating my own Star Wars character. And what does my Star Wars character sound like? And if they had a pet, what does the alien sound like? And, you know, why do they look like that? You know? So it's always been a draw for me, but I think now it's more interesting to me, the voice acting side of things, because there's not a lot of creative jobs anymore. Like a lot of it's getting replaced with AI and stuff like that. And, you know, I know there's a huge actor dispute going on right now around that stuff. And, and artists and everybody who's like putting their own creative touch into things, just with all the AI stuff coming out. So I think it's cool to do voice acting and do something creative. Even if it's not a full-time gig for me, I do really value the ability to play and use my imagination a little bit. So
good answer.
Thank you.
Well, that was a really fun episode that we just filmed of In Conversation with ATF, and it's good to go out on a light note, I'll tell you that now. So my final question to you guys is, what are your plans next, as in voiceover wise?
Well, you know, I need some big Pixar, Disney, Marvel producers to snag me and pull me along for the ride. No, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and you know, just have fun on every project that I get to work on.
Yeah.
Check us out if you want to get in touch with us and you're watching this podcast and you're like, we really need this dynamic duo on our next project. You can go to gurnzillacreative.com and fill out my contact form and we will get in touch with you.
Yeah, I think, you know, for me after this, I'm just excited to kind of do more. And I'm excited to play the video game.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the next order of business.
Is playing the DLC.
Complete the game as Karai.
Yeah, but I honestly would just be so excited with anything future character wise. It's probably been my favorite thing so far is doing a character voice. So anything in the future, I think I'm hoping to do a little bit more voice acting. So I guess we'll just kind of wait and see if this pans out to be something more. IMDb credits are pretty cool.
IMDb credits are stinking cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it.
So, where can we find you both on social media? Where can the whole world find you guys?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for me.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Alannah_Gurnsey.
Oh, I'm on YouTube too. So if you combine YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, you get UTwitface. So you can find me on UTwitface.
Yeah, you can find me mainly on Instagram. If you follow my Instagram at Alannah Gurnsey, then you'll get to see all of my stuff. And yours is what, Gurnsey Creative?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook a lot because I'm an old person. So yeah, that's what we do. Connect with me. I will return messages to any fan that is trying to get in touch.
Yep, me too. Sweet. Absolutely.
I'll even send you pre-recorded audio messages in my character voices if you want.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, you could do a voicemail for me.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, definitely. Right.
To mate, an old rat. Please leave a message after the beep.
You were no match for me.
Yeah, we could do full Ninja Turtle feature.
Absolutely.
Voice messages.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Sweet. Well, in that case, thank you ever so much for watching this episode of In Conversation with ATF with the lovely Sean Gurnsey and Alannah Gurnsey. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did filming it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in another video. Bye, everyone. And cut.